going on YouTube. I'm doing this video. I had a thought. This video could be considered a debating white people 101, but I think it's just more so a quick thought. But it was a question that I asked myself. Looking at our situation as black people and looking at the situations of other races of people in the world. In all honesty, there is no difference between the problems that we experience. Everyone experiences racism. Everyone experiences types of discrimination. Many people their ancestors have been degraded to a certain extent. The only difference between us and everybody else is that we're targeted. No matter how you view it, no matter how you choose to look at it, we are targeted. And the proof of that, it doesn't take much to research organ harvesting. It doesn't take much to research those who've been gunned down by police. It doesn't take much to do all this research, and it's not a matter of statistics. Okay, it's just a matter of Google searching, But for black people, we are the only ones that are divided. We're so divided amongst each other, but that has been taught to us. We have been taught to be divided. And it's just something that, comes with being slaves and white supremacy, systemic racism, against us. A lot of white people don't like to rely on the Willie Lynch letter, even though the Willie Lynch letter is packed with proof. It may not be about a specific person, but that the person that it does speak of was the entire South. The entire South was like that. Okay, the entire South was Willie Lynch. Then everyone that practiced dehumanized slavery was Willie Lynch. But I don't know, man. But the division is not on our part. The division is on our oppressor's part. But when we recognize what our problem is, then it's up to us as black people to come together. But the problem is so deep. The problem is so deep that we subconsciously teach it to our children, and that's how it becomes generational. So it's still the oppressor teaching our children to have disunity amongst each other. Now, had this been some Chinese guys, a group of Chinese people, enslaved for 400 years? What if it was the Japanese who were enslaved for all these years? What if it was the Jews who were enslaved all these years? Would they still be what they are today? See, the other problem with us and everybody else is how long we were under dehumanized slavery. We came out of dehumanized slavery into segregation, dehumanizing segregation. Dehumanized segregation and dehumanized discrimination. Acts and laws and treaties, made so that we could be held back, and they kept documentation of it all. So the question is, how do I feel about everyone else who is currently being oppressed? I hate to say it, but fuck everybody else. My problem is not everybody else. Right now, my problem is uniting my people so that we could become economically independent. Once we become economically dependent, once we have a financial base, economic foundation, something that we can stand on alone, then we can start looking at everybody else. See, the white supremacist society has done that. In a video that I did concerning it was one of the how white folks got so rich. It was one of those videos that I was doing. I haven't made it public just yet, but it is uploaded. It wasn't until I actually did that video that I actually came to the realization that everybody that America had beef with, America cut them a piece of the pie. Money, that is. And even the Jews who America had nothing to do with, America didn't do anything to the Jews, but America not only cut them a piece of the pie, but gave them protection, a place to come to, right? And all throughout the media, we hear Jews and Chinese and Asians, all these people, Indians. They talk about the racism that they experience, but when black people start complaining, you hear white people say, well, the Indians aren't complaining, the Asians aren't complaining, the Jews aren't complaining. The reason that they aren't complaining is because they have a community. They don't have to rely on the oppressor to They don't have to rely on the oppressor to come to their aid. They don't have to rely on the oppressor to help them financially. They don't have to rely on their oppressor for anything moral or anything like that. So that's why they don't. This is why they don't complain. Now they will talk about racism that they have experienced, but they're not going to complain about it. Now, if America would admit what she had done wrong to us and broke us off a piece of some pie and all that good stuff, we wouldn't be complaining. I promise you we wouldn't. We just wouldn't. Hold on. But yeah, man. It's just a matter of black people coming together. We come together and we have to do it ourselves. You see what I'm saying? We have to become economically independent ourselves. We can't ask for anything from our oppressor. And because we have to do everything ourselves, because we have to pull ourselves up by our own bootstrap, why should we care about everybody else? Why should we care about what everybody else is going through when we have to get out of the pit ourselves? We didn't have it so good. We never had it so good here in America, where we just created laws to give ourselves privileges. You can never deny that fact, racist white person. You cannot deny the fact that that everyone that you had did wrong, you gave them reparations. But when we asked for reparations, matter of fact, it was O.O. Howard who was the one that promised us 40 acres and a mule. And when we asked for that, you make fun of us as though it's some type of silly joke. But this is what was promised to black people after slavery. But after slavery, what happened? You gave us sharecropping, where you could fuck over us. Everything that we did, we were fucked over. We were fucked over 20 times worse than how you did anybody. Over how you did anybody. But yeah. But that's how I feel, and that's why I feel the way that I feel concerning everybody. I have no sympathy for any other race but mine. I look at my race and the things that we do to each other, you know, from the arguments all the way down to the killing. You know, all of these things, you know, they do happen normally, but it's why they happen that that society overlooks. It was Brother Umar Johnson that says economic castration and poor education are the mother and father of black on black violence. Dr. Umar Johnson was not lying. When you ask any brother who's in jail right now, why did you kill this person? Why did you kill that person? Why? Because I didn't have no money. Or he probably say, because I ain't had no money. Okay. In his makeup, in his character, you see the lack of education and the lack of financial stability. Every other race, they get excuses. White people, mental issues, Jews, the Holocaust, Chinese people, concentration camps. Everybody gets excuses except for us. Everybody's past can be remembered except for ours. Matter of fact, you have taught our people to hate our past so well. You have taught black people that whenever a slave movie comes out, that, oh, there's just another slave movie. Underground should be doing a whole lot better than what it's doing. Underground should be like the #1 show on TV right now, not Empire. Okay, nothing wrong with Empire. I like Empire, but Empire does not truly represent us. See, Underground represents us as a unit, us working together to be free. Okay. And the same thing applies now. We need each other. We feed off of each other. We need each other. We as black people. Every other race, Jews, the Chinese, Japanese, white people, they all have traditional values that they will never let us in on. Okay? This is one reason why they are economically independent. Why they don't need to be involved with other races. They can survive on their own because they spend with their own. They taught us to hate each other so that we couldn't, build with each other. And the only way that we can build is getting together to watch the football game, or getting together for a barbecue, or getting together to go to church, and getting together to wash cars so that they can raise money to put a new roof on a church, and all this other type of bullshit. We can never come together to actually put in the work to become economically independent of the society that we live in, yet we want to complain every fucking day about the shit that we go through. We cannot complain if we're not doing anything about our situation. We're complaining about the oppressor and asking the oppressor at the same time to help us. It just doesn't make any sense. Again, I'm going to say this. Back to Umar Johnson quote. Economic castration. The inability to give black man jobs, and I do mean black man jobs, and poor education for black men. Why do I say black men? These are the mother and father of black on black violence, black on black crime. Why do I say men? Because when it comes to poor education for men, they fix the school system to cater to females. They have fixed the school system to cater to females, knowing that males, matter of fact, they put a label on the natural characteristics of black boys and called it ADHD or HDHD, or basically saying that your child has a mental issue. And this is not the case. This is not true. Boys are just hyper and active. And that's just how boys are. Everybody knows this. Okay, everybody who's been to school knows that the class clown was a guy. Okay, I can remember high school, man. You know, every guy that was a class clown, every person that was a class clown in high school, middle school, elementary school, they was all guys. But you know, it is what it is, man. You know, that's just the issue that we have to deal with as black people. But you know, the overall subject of this video, how do I feel about other people's problems? I can care less. I see what you're going through, but you know, fuck what y'all going through, because y'all attitude is the same towards us. How can I have sympathy for you, but every time I want to address my situation, it's stop complaining. It's get over it. You know, and things like that. Things of that nature. But it's I don't know, man. I don't know. Will this life or this society ever get to a stage where everyone actually cares about everyone? That's not now. That society only rests inside of our imagination. That's the only place where that kind of society rests, is in our imagination. That is not a society that is ever going to happen anytime soon. Not while we're alive, not while our grandchildren are alive, not when our grandchildren's great-grandchildren's grandchildren live and die and pass on. But you know, that's all I'm gonna say, man, about this. And you know, I'm gonna go and close this out. Peace.